Hey everybody, this is Kathy. Welcome back. Now I just did a video about the Whitakers going to Aldi's. I showed where just 2 or 3 days after Eric brought Ray to the doctor, he couldn't even walk. And I mentioned how his clothes were not soiled, as Eric says. And I'm going to play that clip where he's talking about his clothes being soiled. And this is after the family's been taken away, and he's glad they got taken away because he's going to repeat it over and over on every video, including this one, that Ray has been sitting in his own soil for I don't know how long, Eric, because you've been there all summer and you never noticed he was sitting in his own urine and feces, as you're about to tell us? How come it took from June till the end of August for you to speak up about all this soiling all over Ray? Now, I would have thought that he probably would have had a major staph infection by now with all the things that you described. But anyway, Eric has been repeating it and repeating it and repeating it so many times that people believe it. And somebody just put up a comment on my video I just posted. Says that, I was just arguing with somebody on another channel who they all believe that Ray was sitting in his own urine and feces. And it's frustrating. I know it is. Because you know why? This is a tactic that actually evil dictators use. And it is just repeat a lie, make it big, and repeat it over and over and over and over and over until the big old crowd, even an entire country, believes it. And Eric needs an entire crowd to believe something, so he's using an old technique. And this is it. As you can see, somebody used this already and was quite successful. It says, make the lie big, make it simple, keep saying it, and eventually they will believe it. Okay? And yes, you can fool an entire country if you do this. Just make the lie, make a big old lie. I've seen it. I've seen it happening even on a small scale in my own life, like with people or somebody at work or whatever. There's a neighbor or something. Somebody keeps saying a lie over and over about that person. Everybody starts to believe it. They say even Goebbels used it. If you repeat a lie often enough, people will believe it, and you will even you'll even come to believe it yourself. And how many people have talked themselves into believing something that wasn't true? Yeah, just keep saying it over and over. People will believe it. Eventually, they think it's true. You can look this phenomenon up. Repeating a lie often enough can make it feel like the truth, a phenomenon known as illusionary truth effect. This occurs because repeated exposure to a statement, even a false one, increases its familiarity, and our brains tend to associate familiarity with the truth, regardless of the statement's actual accuracy. This effect can be particularly strong with the big lie theory, which suggests that grand falsehoods repeated frequently can gain acceptance because they are more difficult for people to believe than are untrue. Now, and that's what I mean, the bigger the lie, the more people seem to believe it if you keep repeating it. Then another quote from Mark Twain. Actually, this is not really his quote, but this is close enough. It's easier to fool people than to convince them that they've been fooled. And this is what we're seeing. For those people who cannot accept that they've been fooled by whoever, Eric or Patrick or whoever, it's hard to convince somebody that they've been fooled. It's easier just to fool them the first time, but then to come along with something and say, hey, you may have been tricked here. They're like, I ain't going to do it. So you can see the technique that Eric is using. You know what I'm saying? It's an old technique. I mean, probably thousands of years old, but we've seen it used almost 100 years ago. You know what I mean? So it's an old trick. Keep repeating it over and over, and just people just believe it, and then try to tell them that they've been tricked, and no, they don't believe it anyway. So let's hear this thing that Eric keeps saying, and anyway, go ahead, Eric.
I was spending my money from projects I worked on outside of that to make sure I was taken care of. I have to be able to support myself and my family.
Now he's talking about his first trip up there, and this is the trip. This, by the way, this was his last video where he just surfaced on October 3rd, 2025. He surfaced after being absent, after taking off. So he speaks out. This is on Dad Talk today, and I think it's on his Facebook. I recorded it a while ago, so when it came out. But yeah, he's complaining about his first trip up there, how it was all, money he had from whatever. But anyway, so we're gonna hear how his.
But look at what I was doing. I wasn't exploiting them. Up until then, they had been the inbred family out of Ogden, West Virginia.
He always credits himself with being the first people who didn't exploit them. That is, roll on floor laughing material there. But he keeps saying that they're the ones who turned them from the most inbred family to something else. And he's got more of a scandal than they've ever had in their life with this round. You know what I mean? Yeah, go ahead.
The freak show. One of the things that makes me more proud.
Okay, here we go, guys.
I can say.
Here we go.
There is a 72-year-old man.
All right.
But I am responsible for making sure he went to his first and only doctor's visit in his.
See, I have a really hard time believing that. A really hard time believing it was his first doctor's appointment in his life. He's going to say, yeah, they brought him in one time. I think he got bit by a copperhead or something. But I just don't believe it. I do not believe at 72 years old he's never been to the doctor. Especially when they've all had heart conditions. And if you notice, they put him in the wheelchair and he rolled right on into the doctor's office. No problem. He goes into the store, no problem. Goes in everywhere, no problem. So why all of a sudden did it take Eric Carroll to be the first to get him into a doctor's office? So anyway, taking credit for that. He keeps taking credit for the first ice cream cake. How do you know? Dairy Queen came out with those, I think, when my kids were growing up. They've been out for decades, you know what I mean? So I doubt it was his first, all these first, you know what I mean? But Eric wants credit for I. But anyway, go ahead. He's about to tell you this big lie that everybody seems to believe. Like Goebbels and, And it was a walk-in clinic. A planned doctor. I mean, he walked into a walk-in clinic. You know what I mean? You don't know who you're going to get. It's luck of the draw. Who's ever on call, whatever doctor's scheduled that day. It could be anybody. But the thing to do would have been get an appointment with at least a family doctor. But he went to an urgent, so no, it wasn't a planned doctor's office. It was a walk-in clinic, basically an urgent care. And they said, go see a doctor. And that's what you should have done from the beginning, is just go and get an appointment for an orthopedic doctor. It's not like the old days where you need a referral. No, you just call up an orthopedic and, you know what I mean? Just anyway. So yeah, taking credit for the first planned doctor visit, which, yeah, give me a break. I mean, just, no. Ain't buying
the
it.
emergency room years ago for a snake bite,
Mm-hmm.
but planned doctor's visit. I took him there, got him some medicine, and he became a new person almost right away.
Okay, now we saw what happened 3 days later. Now the video I just showed it was like on 1.5 speed. Here's normal speed. This is 3 days after
Set
the
out
visit.
these groceries on your porch.
This is 3 days later.
That way I can get a picture of y'all whenever we're done.
Okay. That's him getting on the. This is 3 days later. Okay, here's when they left Aldi's.
You're okay, Tammy.
Does Ray look like a new man?
Just be careful, okay?
I mean, he gave him the cream. He said he's walking like a new man. I mean, it's taking them all to get him. Look at it. A new man, huh? Actually, this is the worst I've seen him. So, yeah. So, yeah, he was a new man right away.
I took him there, got him some medicine, and he became a new person almost right away. He had been neglected for years, guys.
Now, at that time, I mean, Eric never mentioned the long talk he had with that doctor about medical cannabis, medical marijuana. Eric said he had a long talk with that doctor. He also later complained that the first trip when he went, he was only able to afford the cream, the over-the-counter cream, mind you. So, and then he claims later, the second trip, when he had money, he was able to buy the pills for him. But we never heard nothing about the pills, and we never heard nothing about this medical marijuana. That he had a long talk with the doctor about. You know what I mean? We saw it in the comments at the very beginning, and then we never heard anything about it. But he wants to act like he just, did knee replacement on, Ray himself. And but you just saw I don't think I ever seen him walk so stiff and so much pain. And this is 3 days after this where he's claiming victory, you know what I mean?
Doctor's visit. I took him there, got him some medicine, and he became a new person almost right away. He had been neglected for years, guys.
And it is funny, Eric, that you didn't say anything all summer since June. You know what I mean? You brought him in the end of June to a walk-in clinic, got some. All you really did, I don't know what she laid on you or what she gave you, but all we know is that you got some over-the-counter cream. No real diagnosis, no x-ray, some over-the-counter cream at Walgreens or CVS. And that's all you did. And you can see 3 days later, he still can't walk.
I really, really hope he's okay right now. I do believe he's in a
And the rest of the summer, he never even mentioned anything. Yeah, they were always going to get him to a orthopedic. Well, you should have done that the first time. I mean, a walk-in clinic, good grief.
I really, really hope he's okay right now. I do believe he's in a much better situation than he was before. Things people don't think of on the other side of the camera when you're just watching.
Now, get this.
You see those genes.
Here comes the big old lie. The big lie that everybody believes. That you can't make them unbelieve.
Other side of the camera when you're just watching the videos. You see those genes and how dirty they were.
No, we didn't see nothing like that. As a matter of fact, when you brought Ray to the doctor, he was actually pretty clean. We saw Ray get into the truck. We got a front view. We got a back view. And yeah, his pants were not covered with filth. We got a view after he came out of the store when he was getting into the truck there. We got another shot. We got the money shot getting into the vehicle. After Aldi's, so yep, no, pants were still clean. Then we got another shot of him getting out of the vehicle. I think he was getting out of the vehicle. Yeah, another one. And still dry. So, yeah. And mind you, this is 3 days after Eric was there. Doesn't look like he's had the same pants on forever. So now that you've heard that, okay, or you're about to hear this, wait till what else he says. Now these are, you just saw the pants, you just saw how he's dressed. This is how he was 3 days later, okay? Never once heard a peep about anything. Okay, how come you were concerned about his knee in June, but you weren't concerned about what you're about to tell us?
You're just watching the videos. You see those jeans and how dirty they were. That's defecation. That's urination. That has been done. He's not wearing any underwear, no belt, defecating and urinating on himself. Sometimes just where it, was left over and he just got off the toilet too quick. Sometimes because he just went in his pants. Did he change his pants? No. Sometimes.
Yeah, see, because he knows there's going to be a lot of most videos where this isn't going to back up his story. So he says, no, he never changed pants. Okay, sometimes he did. But yeah, is this what we just saw 3 days earlier? Or 3 days later?
Pants? No. Sometimes, but more often than not, that would dry up and then he would do it again. Dry up and then do it again. Layers upon layers of defecation.
People believe this.
On oneself. And then what did you see me doing? I had him by the belt loop, keeping him steady, holding up his pants. Come here. You are a beautiful human being, and you need someone to love and take care of you right now.
Did we not see the love and the taking care of at the whole trip to Aldi's? And Eric's the stranger that comes in. The hero, the one who notices 3 months later that he's covered in, soil himself for days and days and days upon, layers and layers, as he said. So, yeah, and he needs someone to love him and care for him. Well, we saw he had plenty of people loving on Ray and caring for Ray. And you saw him on the way there and on the way back with Patrick. He had the biggest smile ever. Okay. Knee seems to be worse after Patrick got a hold of him, but yeah. Anyway, so that's just what he's trying to convince people. And people believe this. Like the person just said, I couldn't convince these people that they've been lied to or whatever they said. Basically. No, you cannot convince these people. So when people come over to my channel and put a comment like, oh, you want Ray to sit in his urine and feces all day? I'm like, okay, goodbye. Thanks for stopping by. I'm not going to argue. Usually I'll just leave it there and let everybody just see it for themselves. You cannot convince these people that they've been fooled.
Dry up and then do it again. Layers upon layers of defecation and urination.
And this went on all summer, and he didn't say anything.
And then what did you see me doing? I had him by the
and what did you see me doing? Eric is always the hero. And if you've noticed, this is in October, if you've noticed, not looking healthy, you know what I mean? There's something going on there. His face looks really different, but he's the hero. He's the hero that comes in here, and he's the only one who loves Ray, the only one who's going to take care of him, The only one who speaks up after 3 months. Yeah, he had him by the belt loop.
Keeping him steady, holding up his pants. Come here.
And nobody ever did that before. What did we just see? We just saw everybody helping Ray from the truck into the house, from the truck into the truck, from the truck into Aldi's, from Aldi's back in the truck, and from the truck back into the house. He's acting like he's the first one that's ever touched Ray or gave him some human contact. And the people that are still buying this, like I said, I'm not even going to argue with them. Okay, if that's what they want to believe, let them believe it, okay?
You are a beautiful human being.
This is a Goebbels technique.
Take care of you right now. Birthday, first ice cream cake, singing. You saw the man singing.
Wow. Eric got Ray to sing for the first time in his life, and he's 72 years old. First ice cream cake. Says who? Like I said, those have been out since the 80s. They've been out since the 80s. Really? And he can say this stuff, and who's going to say? Is Ray going to speak up all of a sudden and start telling us, no, he's full of shit? No. Nobody's going to speak up, because nobody's around when he says this stuff. And Whitakers don't even have internet, so he can say anything he wants. First ice cream cake. You saw the man singing. He never sang in his life. Like, good grief. And you know what else he said? He's the first one that made Ray smile. Like, are you kidding? He's got a permanent smile on his face. Always. Anyway. Always the hero. A victim / hero. This is what Eric is. Always a perpetual victim and always the hero. The only one that ever saw anything. But let it slide all summer long. Isn't that funny? You're holding by the belt loop all summer when he's covered with feces, but you never said anything till the beginning of September?
You need someone to love and take care of you right now.
He already has people who love him.
First ice cream cake, singing. You saw the man singing. They are beautiful people that have been taken advantage of and exploited, and I can't stand it.
Wow. People who have been taken advantage of and exploited. Really, Eric, I have a question. Exactly who? Tell us, Eric, who? Who was it that took advantage and exploited the Whitakers, huh? Who was it? Did they exploit themselves? Huh? Who? The people that sent in all the money, are they the ones that exploited the Whitakers? Who? Who are these people, Eric, who are taking advantage and exploiting the Whitakers? Who are these people that you just can't stand, Eric? And the anger in just the built up rage and anger he's got inside of him. Like I said, his face doesn't look like it used to, you know what I mean? So, where's all this anger coming from? You know? This is not how he started, let's put it that way. Not this bad. But, yeah, so who? I mean, it's either you or Patrick. Mark did not exploit the Whitakers. He gave them a fair shake. And like I said, who are you pointing the finger at? Because you're so angry somebody must have done it, and you're saying people done it, but it's always people. So was it Mark from Soft White Underbelly? Is that who you're saying? Who exploited him? Now, I will say probably the only one I've really seen exploit them is Eric and possibly Patrick, too. Well, yeah, Patrick, too, because he hasn't paid him yet. So, but Eric, my opinion, they both have exploited him. But that Tony, I don't even want to say his last name because I don't like giving people shout-outs. That Tony dude who came in and tried to say that, convince the Whitakers they've been ripped off by Mark. Yeah, he exploited. Yeah, but he was he came and went as Ernie, to quote Ernie Evans, he was a flash in the pan. You know what I mean? So you can't be referring to him because he was actually a couple years ago. So who are you referring to? It's either Mark or Patrick or who? Like I said, I can't imagine who else besides you. But you see how he points the fingers away from himself, and he's so angry that he must be meaning somebody else and not him.
And singing. They are beautiful people that have been taken advantage of and exploited, and I can't stand it. I couldn't watch this go on anymore, guys. When I found out what I found out, especially with abuse on top of it, I can't be a part of this.
Well, and there was his excuse to part ways and walk away with all the money. So when I found out what I found out, and we just have to guess what that is. When I found out what I found out, what the hell does that mean? Okay, next thing is we just have to guess. When I found out what I found out, especially with the abuse on top of it, on top of what he found out, and the abuse on top, well, that was and the only account of abuse is been pressed by Eric. He got coerced Betty, with the with the house and everything else, pressured her into saying a few things, that BJ threw a shoe and hit Timmy in the head. We don't know if it's an accident or whatever, but other than that, what abuse, Eric? And this is what I'm saying. The lie was big. Everybody right now, not I shouldn't say everybody, but everybody who's coming over defending Eric still believes that there was horrible abuse, that BJ was beating up Timmy. And BJ might have been beating up everybody, but people actually believe this. When not one person has seen any evidence. Raise your hand if you've seen BJ hit anybody. Raise your hand if you've seen her arrested and booked for assault or anything, or domestic violence or anything. Huh? Besides Eric, who do we have that's saying that there was abuse? Nobody. And when that report comes out from social services or whatever, when they get done investigating whatever they're doing with the three Whitakers, and I'm really looking forward to some hopefully happy, good results that come from that meeting on Friday in a couple days. I hope there's good news about their family getting reunited. But hopefully they'll find out whether there was abuse or not. And I don't think they're going to find any abuse coming from inside the Whitaker home. Let's put it that way. But yeah, so only evidence we have of abuse is Eric's stories.
What I found out.
And that was exactly what he used to say, that's it. I'm out of here. Look at all the abuse. And everybody's looking like, what abuse? What? What evidence? If you brought Eric's claim of abuse into court, what do you think would happen? You got one person, Eric, claiming there's abuse. Nothing else. Nothing else. And Betty's saying that somebody under duress, saying that BJ threw a shoe one time. And some old boyfriend, and that story's, flip-flop too about the old boyfriend. What do you think? BJ's got a current boyfriend, and then her old boyfriend stops by on occasion to continually beat Timmy? I mean, anyway, just some diluted stories of the past. That's all we have of evidence of abuse, and nothing else. Otherwise, there would be an arrest.
Especially with abuse on top of it, I can't be a part of
Yeah,
this.
just take that money and go back to Georgia.
My attorney sent out letters letting them know I am out, but I need full documentation of all expenses, everything that's came in, so I can do everything by the book to the T.
Yeah, he's going to. But you heard it, the just the graphic, nasty story he just described. Ray, the condition Ray was. Oh, and also tell us the miracle that he's done for Ray. That Ray can now walk like a new man. I think he said, was it like a new man? Oh, here it is. 3 days later. Yeah. And there's his pants sagging down. There ain't nothing wrong with them. They're not soiled. And he's saying he was soiled all the way up to his belt loop. And, just anyway, nonsense. And one more for the road. And this is when Ray gets out of the truck after shopping all day and going on a trip. There you go. Do we see soiled pants? Nope. And this is when he claims he was covered head to toe. But people will continue to believe it, and there will always be people who just cannot be convinced that they've been lied to. All right, so it's better not to argue with these people. Let them believe it. It's just how it is. So anyway, thanks for listening, and peace.